You say you're tired, but you can scroll for hours. You say you don't have energy, but somehow you always have energy for your phone. You say life feels heavy, but your screen time says something else. Maybe you're not tired, maybe you're distracted, and distraction is more dangerous than exhaustion. Because when you're tired, you rest, but when you're distracted, you decay, slowly, silently, without even realizing it. You wake up. First thing you do, check your phone. Before your mind wakes up, before your heart feels anything, before you remember Allah, you remember notifications. And from that moment, your day is no longer yours. It belongs to algorithms. Your attention is being rented. Your focus is being sold. And you think you're just relaxing. But what you're really doing is training your brain to run from silence. And silence is where growth happens. Silence is where clarity happens. Silence is where you hear your own thoughts. But we don't like silence anymore. Because silence exposes things. It shows you how behind you feel, how confused you feel, how lost you feel. So instead of fixing it, you scroll past it. You scroll past your goals. You scroll past your potential. You scroll past the version of you that could have been dangerous. And then at night, you feel empty. You say, why am I like this? But deep down you know, you didn't lose motivation. You lost focus. There was a time when you could sit with one task for an hour. Now 5 minutes feels heavy. Not because you're weak, but because your brain has been trained to expect constant stimulation. Fast videos, fast jokes, fast emotions, fast validation, everything quick. And real success is slow. Real knowledge is slow. Real discipline is slow. Real connection with Allah is slow. You can't speed run depth. But your mind now hates depth. Because depth doesn't give instant reward. Scrolling does. Every swipe gives a tiny hit of pleasure. Tiny, but repeated hundreds of times. And slowly, your brain starts preferring fake progress over real progress. Watching others work instead of working. Watching others succeed instead of building. Watching reminders instead of changing. You love Islamic reminders, but do they change you? Or do they just comfort you? There's a difference. Comfort feels like growth, but it isn't. You feel inspired for 10 minutes, then you go back to distraction. Back to noise, back to comfort, and you wonder why your life isn't moving. Because movement requires friction. Distraction removes friction, but it also removes growth. You say you want Jannah, but you don't want discipline. You say you want peace, but you don't want to let go of the noise. You say you want focus, but you sleep with your phone next to your pillow, and you wake up reaching for it like oxygen. Be honest. How many times have you opened your phone without even knowing why? How many times did you unlock it, forget what you came for, and still stayed scrolling? That's not weakness. That's conditioning. And conditioning can be broken. But only if you admit it. You are not lazy. You are overstimulated. You are not incapable. You are distracted. Your environment is louder than your intention. Your desires are louder than your discipline. And your phone is louder than your purpose. You don't need more motivation. You need boundaries. Because motivation is emotional. Boundaries are structural. Right now your life has no resistance. Everything is easy. Entertainment is easy. Validation is easy. Escape is easy. But greatness is hard. And hard feels uncomfortable. So you avoid it. But every time you avoid discomfort, you teach your brain to avoid growth. And then one day you wake up 5 years later. Same habits, same distractions, same excuses, different age. And that's the scariest part. Not failure, stagnation. Imagine if for 30 days, you controlled your attention. No mindless scrolling, no random consumption, no late night useless videos. Imagine who you'd become. Scary, right? Because that version of you would be unstoppable. And distraction knows that. That's why it fights so hard to keep you average. It whispers softly, just one more video, just 5 more minutes. You deserve a break, but breaks from what? You haven't even started. You are tired of a life you haven't fully tried. Let that sink in. You are exhausted from thinking about changing, not from actually changing. There is a huge difference. Thinking drains you, doing strengthens you, and right now your mind is full, but your actions are empty. You have saved posts, saved lectures, saved reminders, but have you saved yourself? You keep consuming advice, but you avoid execution, and execution is where identity changes. Right now your identity is built around comfort. You identify as someone trying, not someone disciplined, and until that shifts, nothing shifts. Discipline is not dramatic, it's boring, it's repetitive, it's invisible, and that's why it's rare. You want transformation to feel exciting, but real transformation feels lonely. It feels like sitting alone with your thoughts. It feels like turning your phone off and hearing silence. It feels like facing your weaknesses without distraction. And that's uncomfortable. But growth lives there, peace lives there, clarity lives there, and most importantly, connection with Allah lives there. Because when the noise dies, your heart gets louder, and maybe that's what you've been missing. Not more reminders, not more lectures, not more motivation, but space. Space to think, space to breathe, space to reflect. You say your heart feels distant, but how can it feel close when it never gets quiet? Your brain is constantly fed, but your soul is starving. Because the soul doesn't grow from stimulation. It grows from stillness, from reflection, from depth. You don't need to delete everything. You need to decide who you want to become, and then protect that identity aggressively. Because no one else will. The world benefits from your distraction, but only you benefit from your discipline. So choose carefully. 1 hour from now, you can either continue as you are, or you can decide that your attention is sacred, and you will not waste it. Because attention is life. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If your attention lives in nonsense, your life becomes shallow. If your attention lives in purpose, your life becomes powerful. You are not tired. You are scattered. And scattered energy never builds anything great. Gather yourself. One habit at a time. One boundary at a time. One disciplined day at a time. Turn off the noise. Reduce the scrolling. Sit in silence. Pray without rushing. Read without multitasking. Work without checking notifications. Reclaim your mind. Reclaim your focus. Reclaim your future. Because no one is coming to fix your distraction. No motivational speech will save you. No viral reminder will transform you. Only repeated discipline will. And the moment you control your attention, everything changes. Your peace, your productivity, your connection with Allah, your confidence, your direction, all of it. But it starts with one uncomfortable decision. Close the app, sit with yourself, and choose who you want to become. Because you're not tired, you're distracted, and the moment you remove distraction, you'll realize you were powerful all along.